God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to the 25th episode of Your Journey Is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey and to Your Journey Is Not Over. Neither are to be used, copied, or edited in any way without my consent. As I ended my last podcast, I said, who would have ever thought I was the girl living like that? And like I said, I hit it well. A smile can cover 1,000 tears, and it can hide a lot of pain. Like my grandma told me many, many times, I was the only baby she ever seen that can be in so much pain, and with tears rolling down my cheeks, still have the biggest smile on my face. I will always say God gave me the grace at a very early age to smile through the pain. Some people might want to call it a mask. I call it compartmentalizing and adapting to whatever environment. As I've said all along, I was really quiet and shut off, pretty much to myself. Friendly but guarded. Just didn't have much to say except for those closest to me. I didn't have a voice, but that was about to change drastically. As I recall, I was in art class, still in middle school, and somehow I was in a class with all of the popular boys. There were 5 of them, and I wasn't making the popular team, that's for sure. Because I guess I was perceived as bad or in the rough crowd, let's call it, because of being brand new and being suspended, not once, but twice in a week, sure didn't get me a ticket to the popular club. So our class became a nightmare. The popular boys just didn't like me. And just like that, at the county school, which by the way, I had a bully that was a guy at my county school also. So this wasn't new for me. So our class again was a dread every single day. I got made fun of, laughed at by all of them. Again, my fuller lips were their target. My braces were off by this time, but I have fuller lips, and I'm told now that people pay a lot of money to have lips like mine. But in middle school, it wasn't a compliment. It was a target for bullies. I remember this like yesterday, but then again, like I have said, I have a memory like an elephant. Normally, I could ignore it and I could block it out, but this particular day, I'd had enough, and they were all coming at me hard. I was dealing with a new life, a new school, 2 suspensions already, and my mom's verbal and emotional and physical abuse. My boyfriend was 1,200 miles away. It was a lot. And I broke and I started crying. Something really rare for me. And the art teacher, who I loved, she took me in the hallway. Mind you, she had taken up for me countless times already and knew I wouldn't defend myself. So we go in the hallway and she went and got the assistant principal. And they both proceeded to tell me I had to get my voice. I had to find my voice. I was going to have to learn to defend and speak up for myself. If not, I was not going to survive in the school, let alone life. I was like a fish out of water, that's for sure. I know that pep talk they gave me was much needed. It actually, for the first time in my entire life, gave me permission to actually have a voice. I think being the youngest one of the family, being here, there, and everywhere, and with all of the trauma, I just closed down. And the easiest way to adapt to anything and everything was just to be quiet and observe and take everything in. My mom and my brother had very dominant personalities, and I was always the weak one, the quiet one, a lot softer than them. So this pep talk changed everything. After that, I would never be the same. It was like a light switch. Thinking of it now, I always laugh. And when I still see my assistant principal, she always laughs and says, "Girl, we sure didn't know what we were doing that day. You got your voice and you haven't shut up since." I love her, and I'm forever grateful to both of them. They seen something in me that I guess I needed to be given permission to come out. They inspired me, and she is right. I haven't been quiet since that day. It's called growth. And there were some people that weren't too happy about this growth. Let me explain something to everyone. When you have been traumatized in every way possible and you suffer in silence, complete silence like I did, I got real good at observing and reading people and their actions and movements. This was survival for me. I had to learn that at a very early age. My mom kept me and pretty much anyone around her walking on eggshells, never knowing what mood or what reaction you might get. And she could flip on you real quick, too. She could change the energy of an entire house just by walking in the door in what I call one of her moods. So being quiet all these years did give me an advantage. I could read people and I could think quick, still can. I'm quick on my feet and I'm still real good at quick responses and comebacks. So that day, I got my voice. There was no turning back. And now I'm getting to the person that everyone remembers. I'm the girl with a nonstop personality, the girl who talks to everyone, never meets a stranger, and the girl who is long winded and still has so much to say. Yep, that's me. Being quiet gave me other advantages too. I observed, and let me just say, even bullies have weaknesses. So the only way to defeat bullies, because being quiet and not defending myself wasn't doing it. So I fought fire with fire, and amazingly enough, I quit getting bullied at school, not at home. I do want to speak on this while I'm on the subject of bullies. When you bully someone, that's just a reflection of you and who you really are. What would make someone want to make another person feel embarrassment or humiliation or be self conscious, in my case, about my lips? As a kid, it was so demeaning, but as an adult, I see it, like I said, a reflection of that person that's doing the bullying. When you have to demean, put down, spread lies about someone else to feel good about yourself, or as I've seen so many times in my life, I make for good conversation. So when you speak on me or about me, that person becomes center of attention because, of course, everyone wants in on it. Remember, I'm a mystery in my town. But all it tells me now as an adult is that the person who is bullying, spreading lies, making up stuff just to have the attention must be lacking somewhere. And it distracts people from looking at that person, a detour, so to speak. As long as people are focused on me, it keeps the focus off of their insecurities, the inadequate that others must feel about themselves. Stops people from looking in the mirror at their own flaws. If they can point out other people's flaws, and if they can't find flaws, then they just make some up. That's society, a complete deflection. People that bully, lie, and try to destroy other people are the people that I now pray for the most. Those are the lost ones, the ones that have insecurities and low self esteem, don't have true love for themselves, and are lacking something within themselves. Pick yourself apart before you pick someone else apart. Do your own inner work, do your own self growth. Or as my grandma would always say, sweep your own doorstep before you sweep mine. As I'm writing this, I hear her saying, don't throw stones at a glass house. Isn't that the truth? I've had so many people that through the years want to, for whatever reason. No, I know the reason. Want to make me look bad. Again, their own insecurities when it comes to me. Remember, I walk on sunshine. But want to come along and tell their version of my story. What's so funny is those people that have tried to sell my story, to interrupt my life, take away my happiness, and the list goes on and on. But those exact people have way more interesting and sinister stories of their own to tell, but they deflect that by trying to tell mine. I'm doing a pretty good job at that. I started the videos, then to the podcast. I promised God and myself that I would be completely transparent and honest about my life. Of course, there are going to be certain times where I can't be as forthcoming as I want to because changes in life decisions along my journey involve other people. So I do not want to be disrespectful or invade someone else's privacy. We all have a story to tell. It's our journey, and I take mine personal. This concludes my podcast for today. I want to say thank you to everyone for the love and the support that I receive. I'm forever grateful, and I feel blessed to know that I'm reaching so many people, and I pray that my journey helps someone, anyone. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Make it a wonderful weekend, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through.